comes to an end. Mary Ellen and Robert Samuels reconnect.
He's 32 and working in the camera department on major Hollywood films, with his big break on the hit Heaven Can Wait.
Robert Samuels was a camera assistant on really high-profile films and was known to be very well-liked and had a really good work ethic.
A few months later, in 1980, they married, and Robert adopts 10-year-old Nicole.
The happy family brings a new addition into the mix when they buy themselves a puppy schnauzer.
Bob is thrilled. He's got the job of his dreams, a beautiful wife, a young daughter whom he loves, and the puppy he's always wanted. Things have come full circle for him, and it couldn't be any better.
Robert continues to build his career as second assistant cameraman, working on some of Hollywood's biggest films.
The Color Purple, Real Genius, Some Kind of Wonderful. These were big hits in the 80s.
In addition to his Hollywood career, the couple buy a sandwich shop on Van Nuys Boulevard in the Sherman Oaks area of Los Angeles, which they manage together.
The sandwich shop was a perfect financial bridge between sets, as the Hollywood industry work was at times erratic. But working in the film business requires long hours, and when Robert was working on set, it meant being away from home, on location for long periods.
6 years into the marriage, Mary Ellen becomes restless of Robert's work-life balance, as his career in Hollywood is taking over from their marriage and happiness.
After about 6 years, Mary Ellen decided to leave Robert and left him a Dear John letter saying that the marriage had kind of become stale.
In early October of 1986, Mary Ellen and her daughter Nicole moved out of the family's Bahama Street home and into a condo in Reseda, another Los Angeles suburb.
On the 31st of October, Mary Ellen Samuels files for divorce.
Nicole, now 16, is in the 10th grade at Alamany High School, a private coeducational Catholic school located in the suburb of Mission Hills.
Bob pays for Nicole's private school tuition, in addition to supporting Mary Ellen to the tune of $1,200 a month in spousal support.
Luckily, it's not an acrimonious separation, and they still find a way to work together and run their Van Nuys sandwich shop together.
Daughter Nicole even finds time to work at the sandwich shop part-time to make extra money while in high school. Between her busy schedule of school and work, Nicole also met a man named James Bernstein.
He treated her like an absolute goddess, so they got together and were together for a while.
One could say James Bernstein wasn't the most honest person. He even carried a business card that says, specialist.
James and Nicole hit it off, and since then he's been stopping by the sandwich shop to see her. By the end of the year, they're dating. He's 24, she's 16.
Nicole confides the news to her best friend at school, Selena Kroll.
Best friends tend to have things in common. Nicole and Selena are alike on so many levels, including the fact they're both dating older men. Selena's boyfriend is named David Navarro.
Meanwhile, Nicole's mother, Mary Ellen, embarks on a whirlwind social life, frequenting popular San Fernando restaurants and bars with her friends.
The glitz, glamour, and excess of the 80s is in high gear, and Mary Ellen is in the driver's seat.
By November of 1988, Robert is depressed. His relationship with Mary Ellen has deteriorated. He tells his sister Susan that he intends to finalize the divorce.
He sees his divorce lawyer about lowering the amount of spousal support he's paying. He also wants court permission to assume the management of the Van Nuys subway shop because he believes he can do a better job than Mary Ellen.
But before he completes the paperwork required to file the modification, tragedy strikes.
Mary Ellen calls Robert to try to get a hold of him. After many attempts, she couldn't get a hold of him, so she and her daughter Nicole decide to go to the home to see what's going on there.
On December 9th, Mary Ellen and Nicole find Robert's body in the hallway next to the living room.
Upon entering the house, they find Robert shot dead, and he's lying on the floor, and they just become hysterical.
They place a frantic call to 911 to report it. The Los Angeles Fire Department responds to the emergency.
Robert Samuels has been dead for over 12 hours when emergency personnel arrive.
Police speculate that he was on the way to his tanning bed when he was bludgeoned, then shot with a 16-gauge shotgun through a pillow. There's no sign of a break-in, but things are somewhat disheveled in the house.
Mary Ellen is questioned by police that same night.
She tells them she and Nicole found Robert dead on the hall floor when they arrived at the house to drop the family dog off for the weekend.
After separating, they agreed to share custody of their pet schnauzer.
She tells police she left Bob messages on the answering machine, letting him know that she would be bringing the dog over.
If he was working on a film, she wouldn't necessarily be surprised if she didn't hear back from him.
Police find no reason to detain Mary Ellen. She is free to go.
2 days later, the press reports Bob's murder, stating police are looking for a suspect and a motive in the case.
A month goes by. Police receive a phone call from the insurance company holding Robert's life insurance policies.
They want to know if Mary Ellen is a suspect in the death of Robert Samuels.
The police tell them she's not a suspect in the case.
Mary Ellen stands to inherit $500,000 from Robert's estate.
$500,000 in 1988 is the equivalent of roughly $1.2 million today.
Nicole and Mary Ellen move back into the Bahama Street house.
And Mary Ellen soon embarks on a spending spree.
She puts down $50,000 cash on a $72,000 white Porsche.
She buys herself a fur coat and custom-made clothing from a shop in West Hollywood called Trashy Lingerie.
She even starts using limousines to go bar hopping.
She's back to her high-paced lifestyle, but this time she's flaunting the money she's brought with her.
In February of 1989, approximately 2 months after Robert's death, Jim Bernstein meets David Navarro through Nicole.
The two men become friends. In fact, they become partners as small-time cocaine dealers in Sherman Oaks.
Mary Ellen has a new friend too. She meets a music producer named Dean Groover in a nightclub.
Within weeks, he moves into her Bahama Street house.
Mary Ellen and Groover take several trips to Vegas together. Mary Ellen even throws herself an extravagant 40th birthday at the Knollwood Country Club before her and Dean Groover continue to travel. Mexico is their favorite destination, in addition to Vegas.
She purchases a condo in Cancun for $130,000 and is spending money like there's no tomorrow.
As her mother gallivants to various sun destinations, Nicole and Jim Bernstein have been dating for over a year.
He's head over heels in love with her. He'd do anything for her.
They become engaged. Then, at the end of June, at the peak of their happiness, Bernstein disappears without a trace. Until July 23, 1989, when his bodily remains are found, raising numerous questions as to why there's a second death surrounding the family and friends.
Has Omega XL changed my life? Yes. Nobody has time for pain.
Are you living in pain? Are daily activities becoming difficult? Take control of your pain, like reality star Cynthia Bailey.
When I was dealing with my pain, I was trying any and everything to feel better. My knees in particular started giving me pain issues all the way back to my modeling days, from just walking the runways, always having to have heels on all the time. I just didn't feel like myself anymore. I mean, I just felt so limited. You guys know how crazy my work schedule is, running through airports, photo shoots, going up and down the stairs of my homes, even just taking a walk. Like, everything felt so much more like a struggle.
Is joint pain preventing you from doing the things that you love? Pain is one of the most common reasons that people seek medical attention. I'm Dr. Sharon McQuillan, and I see patients with joint pain and muscle pain in my office every day. Omega XL is the product I trust.
After taking Omega XL, I really started to notice how less stiff I was, especially my knees and my hip area.
Omega XL is a powerful natural supplement backed by 40 years of clinical research.
Omega XL contains powerful natural compounds called SPMs that are thousands of times more effective at resolving inflammation than the omega-3 fatty acids in fish oil. Fish oil doesn't contain SPMs, and this is an important difference. As a physician, before I recommend a product, I have to really understand how it works and its effectiveness in providing relief for your joints.
You know, one of the reasons why I love Omega XL is because it's natural. And I really care about what I put into my body. And with Omega XL, it's just these little tiny capsules that are really easy to swallow. After I started taking Omega XL, the first person I turned on to was my mom. I knew I would see you soon. You must have ran out.
Close.
Since you started taking it, like, what is like one of the big differences that you think you've seen?
Start working, all of a sudden I didn't notice it.
Like the stiffness,
The stiffness
what's going out of your
in
body?
my knee and my back and my feet.
I don't suffer from the knee pain anymore that I used to. It's gotten so much better since I started taking the MXL. We're both women of a certain age now, so I know exactly what you're talking about. So glad that you're happy and you're feeling better.
Yes, I am.
Thank you, Omega XL. I want to make sure all my friends and family know why I feel so good. My secret is Omega XL.
Call the number at the bottom of the screen, scan the code, or go online to get the special offer. Buy 1 bottle of Omega XL and get 1 free. Plus, you'll also receive a bottle of Vitamin XL D3 absolutely free. Buy 1, get 2 free. 2 bottles of Omega XL plus Vitamin XL D3, a value of more than $85. Order today and you pay only $39.95. Plus, you have nothing to lose because it's backed by our 60-day money-back guarantee.
Thank you, Omega XL.
Try Omega XL today.
No matter where you live across the country, you can earn an affordable degree online at Southern New Hampshire University.
Southern New Hampshire University is where you are supposed to be. Fully online, fully remote. It's the place that you've been looking for. Visit snhu.edu.
This is a story about the one. The untrained eye may not see the one as extraordinary, but her goals aren't easy. She fixes, she manages, she perfects. She is extraordinary. Because for the one, maintaining this space transports her to this space. The industrial grade product you need plus 1 million more. Call, click Grainger.com or stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Under Outfit is engineered for maximum comfort and support. Like, what does it feel like? How does it fit? Support? Under Outfit, so comfortable and soft, it's like we designed our bras to be forgotten. Try them at home for 180 days. Under Outfit, engineered for happiness.
My paycheck was just deposited into my Greenlight account.
Greenlight is so convenient. You know, we had to use a vacuum tube.
Where is it going?
Bring your family into the financial future.
At Avocado Green Mattress, we know that we all deserve a little rest. That's why we're promoting better sleep this season with our certified organic mattresses and bedding. All made with natural, luxurious materials for a healthier planet and a healthier you. Start your sleep trial today at avocadogreenmattress.com.
On December 8th, 1988, Robert Samuels is bludgeoned and shot to death in his suburban San Fernando Valley home.
His widow, Mary Ellen, inherits a substantial estate upon Robert's death, $500,000. She doesn't waste any time starting to spend it.
Within weeks of Robert's death, she acquires a new boyfriend who moves in with her, and they take numerous trips to Las Vegas and Mexico. Simultaneously, her daughter Nicole has finished her senior year of high school and is engaged to James Bernstein. But they would never have a life together. On July 23, 1989, Bernstein's remains are found in northeastern Ventura County. A botany professor on a nature hike in remote Lockwood Canyon stumbles upon the grisly site where he finds a badly decomposed body. The Ventura County Sheriff's Office, working in conjunction with the LAPD, determine the remains are those of James Bernstein.
Although this body was incredibly decomposed, the investigators were able to lift his prints and find out that it's James Bernstein.
Bernstein disappeared June 27th. His body wasn't discovered until July 23rd.
The summer heat and exposure to the elements would result in an advanced state of decomposition.
James Bernstein died by strangulation. It would not have been a quick death.
The autopsy revealed his larynx was broken. Laryngeal fracture requires a considerable impact force. It can result from blunt trauma to the neck or from strangulation.
But when the investigation into Bernstein's death begins, his name is already known to police. Almost 2 months before Bernstein disappears, police receive a tip from an anonymous phone caller.
It comes in on the 1st of May. The tipster says he has information about the murder of Robert Samuels.
He points a finger at both Mary Ellen Samuels and Jim Bernstein in connection with the December 1988 death of Robert Samuels.
What the tipster tells police is no surprise to Detective George Daly of the LAPD, the lead investigator in the Samuels murder.
He's been on the case from the beginning and has had both Mary Ellen and Bernstein in his sights for months in connection with Robert's death.
Now he finds himself investigating 2 murders.
James Bernstein died believing he was engaged to Nicole, but nothing could have been further from the truth.
Jim Bernstein's world changed, and not for the better, the day he met Nicole Samuels.
Newly separated, Mary Ellen's social life gravitates around San Fernando nightclubs, bars, and restaurants, to which she sometimes takes Nicole and her underage high school friends.
The girls have no trouble getting in or getting drinks. Everyone knows Mary Ellen.
But she's not just partying, she's also on a mission. Throughout the second half of 1988, she talks openly and often about finding a way to kill her husband.
As a divorcee, she stands to get a settlement of $30,000. As a widow, she would inherit an estate worth $500,000.
She asks friends outright if they know someone who can do the job.
It seems she simply doesn't care who hears her plans. Hitman aside, she comes up with some wild ideas herself for killing Bob Samuels. One involves dropping a 400-pound can opener at the sandwich shop on him.
Another is to get him drunk and drive him off a cliff on Mulholland Drive.
About a month before his death, Mary Ellen arranges a dinner for Robert and several friends at a restaurant.
The plan is to get him drunk and take his car, leaving him confused and vulnerable in the parking lot, prey for the hitman that Mary Ellen hired.
But the hitman never shows, and Robert takes a cab home. Mary Ellen complains to her friend Heidi Dougal that various hitmen have tried to do him 3 or 4 times.
She says she spent $15,000, but nothing's happened.
But it's an idea she keeps pursuing.
Meanwhile, throughout the 26 months of their estrangement, Bob continues to hope they will get back together.
2 months before his death, the guy buys a book titled How to Save Your Marriage.
During the entire time of their 2-year separation, he remains completely unaware of Mary Ellen's plans to have him killed.
He's also oblivious to the story that Mary Ellen has been spreading about him. She tells her friends that Robert is allegedly an abusive husband who drinks and has done terrible things to her daughter.
This is how she justifies wanting to get rid of him to her friends, portraying him as a monster. Nicole has been a willing contributor to the vilification of Robert, telling friends at school that her adoptive father supposedly rapes and beats her and her mother.
Nicole has also tried to help by sourcing a gun for Mary Ellen. She asks her friend Selena during their senior year if Selena can get a gun so someone could take care of her father. As the finalization of the divorce looms, Mary Ellen redoubles her efforts, and Nicole is at her side. David Navarro, Selena Kroll's boyfriend, is looking for funds to get a house hunting business off the ground.
He asked Mary Ellen for a loan. She tells him money is tight, but she has a job for him.
She proposes that Navarro and Selena's brother John take out Robert. She will pay them for it.
Navarro isn't interested, but plays along in the moment, telling Mary Ellen he'll think about it. The next day, he turns down the offer.
He had no interest in getting involved in killing Robert.
Mary Ellen tells him he's being silly. By this time, a month before his death, Robert is depressed. The writing is on the wall. Finally giving up on the marriage, he goes to see his divorce lawyer.
But now Mary Ellen has a solid plan in place.
Several months earlier, Mary Ellen tells Nicole's boyfriend James Bernstein that allegedly Robert abused Nicole for years, and that it began at the age of 12 when he raped her.
Bernstein believes it, Nicole reinforces it. He comes to believe Robert is a monster.
The two women have him completely brainwashed.
By November, Bernstein can't endure the idea of what Nicole has suffered any longer. He says he wants Samuels taken care of permanently.
He asks his boss, Charles Mandel, if he knows the name of a hitman. Mandel gives him Mike Silva's name and number.
On the 7th of December, Mary Ellen tells her close friend Anne Hanley that she intends to find her husband dead in 2 days. To bolster her story about dropping off the dog at Roberts, Mary Ellen leaves messages on his answering machine saying she'll be coming over. Mary Ellen finally succeeds in ridding herself of her husband, but she never thinks about the one major loose end she'll need to contend with.
I'm happy. I'm happy to have gold. I have gold as a hedge against inflation. I know that this is the only thing that represents real money. I've had a portfolio of course, stocks, but no one ever talked about gold as part of your portfolio. To make a long story short, I ended up buying gold for the first time. And boy, was I excited. What I like about owning physical gold is that I'm in control of my money. No one else has his hands on it, but I can put my hands right on it right now. If I need it right away, it's there.
If you would like to learn more about why physical gold should be an important part of your portfolio, simply call to receive the complete guide to buying gold, filled with new and exclusive information, including facts you should know about making any gold, silver, platinum, or palladium purchase. Call now to also receive our new 2025 Global Gold Forecast Special Report. Inside, you'll find the real issues on why you need to start owning gold today. You can also receive a copy of our new report, Protection in the Risk Zone. U.S. Money Reserve can walk you through the 3 simple steps of transferring your existing 401k or IRA into a precious metals IRA backed by physical gold to further protect your assets from market instability. Pick up the phone and call U.S. Money Reserve, America's gold authority, right now to get your free gold kit and IRA information, including the 3 simple steps for transferring your existing 401k, 403b, and traditional IRA. With more than 2 decades in business, over $3 billion in transactions, and more than 1 million clients worldwide, U.S. Money Reserve is one of the most dependable gold distributors in America.
Okay, monthly sales meeting. Stay focused. You got this.
Hey, Julia, do you have the sales numbers?
Good thing Otter AI gets me answers quickly.
Otter, the AI meat agent. Who doesn't love tracking the value of everything? Now you've tracked the value of your car with Carvana Value Tracker. Sign up and we'll give you the current value of your car, and you'll get regular value updates too. Sign up today at Carvana.
Coming up next on True Crime Network.
On December 8, 1988, 40-year-old Robert Samuels is murdered in a surprise attack in his home in North Hills, Los Angeles. His wife and daughter find his body in the hallway of his house and call 911. Mary Ellen acts provocatively during her interview with police on the night Robert's body is found. She rubs the head of one of the detectives, declaring, "I like bald guys."
Her behavior must strike them as bizarre. She just found her husband dead on the floor.
Whatever they think, they have to let her go. They have no reason to detain her.
After Bob's death, none of Mary Ellen's friends who know about her plotting and planning to get rid of him go to police.
Those who knew what Mary Ellen has done could very well be afraid for what she might do to them. She was obviously a very dangerous woman.
By April, 4 months after Robert's death, Mary Ellen feels Bernstein has now become a liability, one she needs to do something about.
She tells Hambley she wants Bernstein killed because she fears he will go to the police and disclose her involvement in Robert's murder.
Hambley tells Mary Ellen she might be able to help.
Anne Hambley introduces Mary Ellen to her live-in boyfriend, Paul Gall.
Gall is a 26-year-old roofer from Sylmar.
Mary Ellen tells Gall that Bernstein is blackmailing her and that he sells drugs to children.
Gall tells her that his brother had been killed by drug dealers and that he's angry about it.
Mary Ellen offers to pay him $5,000 to get rid of Bernstein, and will also forgive a loan she's made to Anne Hambley as part of the deal.
She tells him she will be departing for Mexico and wants the job done before she comes back.
When Mary Ellen's lavish spending begins within a few weeks of Robert's death, it does not go unnoticed by Daly. Over the weeks since Robert's death, his investigation has come to encompass both Mary Ellen and James Bernstein, but he still lacks evidence that would lead to an arrest.
He's about to get a major break.
An anonymous caller tells Officer Daniel Beerer he has information related to Robert Samuel's murder.
At this point, they didn't know who the caller was, but it's later revealed to be Navarro.
He says he was with Jim Bernstein when Bernstein received a message on his pager. It's the phone number for Mike Silva, the hitman Bernstein's boss had recommended to him.
Bernstein tells Navarro he has to leave to see Silva, referring to him as the hitman. The anonymous caller gives Beerer Silva's name and phone number. He also points a finger at Bernstein and Mary Ellen in connection with Robert's death.
He gives police a verse so they know it's him the next time he calls. A rose is a rose, but the nose always knows.
George Daly gets search warrants for Bernstein's apartment in Sherman Oaks and for the house on Bahama Street. Police search Mary Ellen's house the same day, but they don't find evidence related to Robert's murder at either location. At this point, Nicole is engaged to James Bernstein.
He bought a $25,000 life insurance policy, naming her as the beneficiary.
She's also engaged to another man. She wears 2 engagement rings, switching them from one hand to the other, depending who she's with.
Jim Bernstein has no idea she's seeing someone else.
She's been playing him all along.
Bernstein confides in Navarro that he and Mike Silva killed Robert Samuels.
He says Mary Ellen paid him. He skimmed money off the top for himself and then gave the balance to Mike Silva.
He also tells Navarro that Mary Ellen wanted her husband killed for insurance money.
By June, Bernstein is remorseful about his role in Robert's death. He tells a friend he's afraid of being caught.
He calls his boss, Matt Rue, and starts to talk about how the police are after him and that he's feeling uncomfortable and shaken by it.
He wants to confess his involvement and he wants to move out of the area. He feels the police are closing in on him.
Doing whatever it takes to avoid being captured, Bernstein moves in with Anne Hambley and Paul Gall, at Mary Ellen's suggestion. He's unaware he's just moved in with one of his killers. Paul Gall solicits his friend, Daryl Edwards, to help him murder Bernstein.
On the morning of June 27, 1989, they meet at a bar to go over their plan to lure Bernstein to a remote area near Fraser Park.
They separate and plan to meet at Anne Hambley's later in the day.
Gall decides to drink alone throughout the day. He takes nearly 30 to 40 cans of beer to get drunk enough to follow through with the plan.
Gall returns drunk to Hambley's house between 5 and 6 p.m.
Bernstein's there since he's been living at the house for a while. Edward arrives a couple hours later, and he and Gall propose that Bernstein drive with them up to Fraser Canyon to rob some drug dealers they know of.
At first, Bernstein is uncertain, but he's curious and wants more information.
Eventually, he agrees.
Gall, Edwards, and Bernstein head out of town in Mary Ellen's convertible, a Toyota Celica with vanity plates that read NASTVXN for Nasty Vixen.
Bernstein is unaware this car ride is going to be his last trip outside of the city.
Hey, babe. Hey, babe. I just got a text from my sister today. Do you remember her neighbor, Rick?
Yeah, isn't he the guy in his 70s still running marathons?
Not anymore.
What happened?
Gone, just like that.
Wow, he seemed to be in such great shape.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we're not about to have the when are we getting life insurance conversation, are we?
No, we're having the we're calling Colonial Penn conversation. We're getting that $9.95 plan today.
Is it time for you to call about the $9.95 plan? I'm Jonathan from Colonial Penn Life Insurance Company. Sometimes we just need a reminder not to take today for granted. It could be the death of someone you know or a health scare. That's why today could be the day to call for free information about Colonial Penn's 995 plan.
Call for your free Colonial Penn planner with important information you need. Plus, you'll receive coverage options to fit your budget and needs, as well as a simple one-page application form. No health questions asked, guaranteed. Call 1-800-493-8003. That's 1-800-493-8003.
If you're age 50 to 85, you can get guaranteed acceptance life insurance starting at $9.95 a month. You can't be turned down for any health reason. This is permanent coverage. Just pay your premiums for lifelong protection.
Call for your free, no-obligation Colonial Penn planner and get the information you need. You'll also receive a simple one-page application form as well as helpful ways to leave important messages for your family. Get your planner today and let them know what's important to you. Just call 1-800-493-8003.
Once insured, your rate can never go up. It's locked in for life. Don't put it off. Take the first easy step. Call today for free information.
I love you, but no more waiting.
Call 1-800-493-8003. That's 1-800-493-8003. Call now.
Remember, Dad, we've got Greenlight Infinity. You can see my location in real time, so you know I'm safe.
When I was your age, it wasn't that easy.
Does anyone have a quarter so I can tell my mom I'm safe? Anyone?
Bring your family into the financial future.
You need some help.
I know. I'm going to CashNetUSA.com, and if approved, we can have the money in our account as soon as the same business day.
Go to CashNetUSA.com to apply for the money you need.
This is the story of the one. The one who believes being prepared is not just a way of life. It's how he helps everyone stay safe. He sweats the small stuff before it becomes big stuff. For the one, being an unsung hero in a building full of everyday heroes is just how he likes it. The industrial-grade products you need delivered fast. Call, click Ranger.com, or stop by. Ranger, for the ones who get it done.
After Robert Samuels is murdered in his home and found by his wife Mary Ellen and daughter Nicole, murderer James Bernstein is in hiding. Unaware Mary Ellen is behind it all, detectives are looking at all suspects, while Bernstein's paranoia is making Mary Ellen nervous. She enlists the help of Paul Gall and Daryl Edwards to eliminate the weakest link, otherwise known as James Bernstein, and they convince him to go for a ride. Paul Gall, James Bernstein, and Daryl Edwards arrive at an isolated dirt road in Ventura County backcountry. Suddenly, Daryl Edwards shouts, "Now!" Edwards tries to choke Bernstein, who begins to scream. Gall tries to punch Bernstein to silence him, but he misses and accidentally hits Edwards, causing Edwards to lose his grip. Bernstein tries to escape, but his killers catch up with him. As he is choked by Edwards, Bernstein asks, "Why?"
Gull replies, "Because you talk too much."
Gall listens for a heartbeat, but can hear nothing.
Their strangulation of the victim takes between 3 and 5 minutes.
After disposing of Bernstein's body, Gall throws Bernstein's pager and a belt over an embankment. Gall and Edwards head back to Anne Hambley's house.
They tell her they've killed Bernstein.
Anne Hambley phones Mary Ellen in Cancun, using the code they had agreed on ahead of time.
Anne tells Mary Ellen she has spoken to her sister.
That's the signal to Mary Ellen that Bernstein is dead and it's safe for her to return from Mexico.
Nearly a month later, on July 23, 1989, a botany professor hiking in the canyon stumbles upon Bernstein's badly decomposed body. Authorities declined to release the exact cause of death, other than to say it had been ruled a homicide by the Ventura County coroner. Ventura County Sheriff's deputies joined the Los Angeles police in the investigation. Searching Bernstein's apartment, investigators find evidence he was involved in Robert Samuels' murder.
They also discover evidence that Bernstein was killed because he had sought more money from Mary Ellen after Robert Samuels' death. Mary Ellen's luck is about to run out.
On Friday, the 26th of January, Mary Ellen Samuels is arrested at her home and taken to Van Nuys Jail, where she is held without bail.
It's now just a little over 13 months since Robert Samuels was killed in their home.
Paul Gall is arrested the same day at his home in suburban Sylmar, but Daryl Edwards' whereabouts are unknown. The following Tuesday morning, Mary Ellen appears in court to hear charges against her for soliciting her husband's murder, then paying assassins to kill the man who arranged it.
She's facing 2 counts of murder with special circumstance of soliciting a killing for financial gain.
In that special circumstance, that triggers the possibility of the death penalty if she's convicted.
Capital punishment was reinstated in California in 1977.
The next day, Daryl Edwards walks into the Foothills Division Police Station in Pacoima and tells officers he is wanted in a murder investigation.
Bernstein's murder will be prosecuted in Los Angeles County because his death is considered part of a crime originating in Los Angeles.
Gall and Edwards are charged with murder, also with special circumstances, and held without bail.
Mary Ellen will spend the next 4 years in the county jail, awaiting a trial that will determine her fate. The case of the People versus Mary Ellen Samuels begins with a preliminary hearing on March 7, 1994, in Van Nuys Superior Court, with Judge Michael Hoff presiding.
This is an opportunity for the prosecution and the defense to outline their basic arguments.
The prosecution is represented by Deputy District Attorney Jan Morisi, who alleges that Mary Ellen killed her husband for financial gain, and then had the man she hired to do the job killed.
She's arguing that the motivation for Robert's murder was greed and an impending divorce.
Mary Ellen's defense attorneys, Philip Namath and Josh Groshen, say she is an innocent victim of alleged spousal abuse.
They will argue that Mary Ellen supposedly suffered physical and psychological abuse at the hands of her husband.
Regarding Bernstein, who is referred to as the hitman throughout the trial, the prosecution alleges Mary Ellen hired 2 killers to do away with him after he asked her for more money to buy a car, and threatened to go to police if she didn't pay him.
She ended up finding 2 other hitmen to be able to go after James Bernstein and make sure that he didn't speak to the police because she didn't want him to crack under pressure and actually point to her at some point.
The defense argues that James Bernstein acted alone in killing Robert, that he was smitten with Nicole and acted out of anger and revenge after he was told her adoptive father had allegedly raped her.
They say they have a long list of people with a strong motive for killing Bernstein, including drug customers and suppliers, but not Mary Ellen Samuels.
The defense also says Mary Ellen is being sold down the river by a flock of fair-weather friends. And she's about to find out firsthand how harsh her so-called friends truly are.
Are you sitting at home living in pain? Maybe it's in your hands or your back or your hips. I'm here to tell you that joint pain doesn't have to be a life sentence. Hi, I'm John Walsh. You know, for 40 years, I've been chasing down the culprits. Now I'm ready to throw the book at joint and muscle pain. That's why there's Omega XL, a one-of-a-kind, natural, powerful joint relief supplement. So I tried it, and it changed my life. Just ask anybody who uses it. The results are undeniable.
Last week I walked 6 blocks. I was so proud of myself. I ordered Omega XL, and now I have more energy than I ever had. It's been the best thing that I did because it relieves a lot of pain. Everything changed for the best. I can go out, I can hang out with my sisters, I can go anywhere, clean my house, do whatever I can and want to do. Now it's let's go, baby. This product is the best thing. You will remember what did it to you, and it was Omega XL.
That's the truth, the facts, and the hope that Omega XL can bring you. Case closed.
Go to OmegaXL.com/John Walsh or call the number at the bottom of your screen right now to take advantage of this special offer. Buy 1 bottle of Omega XL, get 1 free. That's 2 bottles for only $39.95. Plus, you'll also receive a bottle of Vitamin XL D3 absolutely free. And it's backed by a 60-day money-back guarantee. If you're not satisfied, just return the unused portion for a full refund of the purchase price.
If you're living with joint or muscle pain caused by inflammation, try Omega XL and see the difference it can make in your life.
Order now to get this special offer. 2 bottles of Omega XL plus Vitamin XL D3 for only $39.95. Act now. Do you suffer from puffy under-eye bags, deep-set forehead lines, and wrinkles that give away your age instantly? Well, if so, it's not your fault. It's all a symptom of aging. That's why we created Plexiderm, a clinically studied serum that decreases the appearance of under-eye bags and dark circles by 80%, crow's feet and wrinkles around the eyes by 81%, and forehead lines by 85%, and lasts for up to 10 hours.
Look at this one under-eye bag. It's gone.
So I've had these bags for many, many years, and then I found Plexiderm, and this happened.
I'm going to apply Plexiderm under this eye so you can see the difference. I have struggled with under eye bags my whole life. I have tried every product and none of them have worked. You just watched it happen. I went from this to this.
Try it this July 4th for only $14.95. Plus get free shipping. Call the number on your screen or visit plexidermtrial.com.
When big city crimes hit small town America,
It was so shocking.
detectives try and piece together the clues in these quaint communities. Heartland Homicide, next on True Crime Network.
The preliminary hearing for the trial of Mary Ellen Samuels is underway. A choice item in the prosecution's arsenal is the Polaroid photo Dean Groover snapped of Mary Ellen during one of their trips to Mexico.
She's lying on a bed wearing nothing but $20,000 in cash.
Defense attorney Phil Namath seeks to block the use of the photo at the trial, arguing that it proves nothing and will only prejudice the jury against his client.
Judge Hoff, however, sides with the prosecution and says the photo can be shown to the jury when the trial commences.
At the end of 2 weeks of preliminaries, and with the lines firmly drawn between defense and prosecution, the trial gets underway the week of March 21st. Mary Ellen is charged with murder, attempted murder, and soliciting murder.
She has maintained a plea of not guilty from the beginning.
If the 7 men and 5 women on the jury find her guilty, she could become the 5th woman on California's death row. A number of Mary Ellen's once closest friends will be testifying as witnesses for the prosecution under grants of immunity.
The grant of immunity protects them from being charged after admitting to their knowledge or involvement in the alleged plots. David Navarro will take the stand, as will Paul Gall.
3 years earlier, in April 1991, Gall pleaded guilty to second-degree murder in a plea bargain.
In exchange for testifying, you will serve 15 years to life, but will avoid the death sentence.
Daryl Edwards also struck a plea bargain that would see him avoid the death penalty and serve 15 years to life.
Prosecutor Jan Marisi wastes no time in characterizing Mary Ellen as greedy, manipulative, and callous, citing money as the motive for the murder of Robert Samuels. Philip Namath will lean on Mary Ellen's tale of family abuse as a key strategy in the defense's case. But Jan Marisi doesn't believe that either Mary Ellen or Nicole were abused.
She states she hasn't been able to find any medical or police reports to substantiate the abuse claims.
It's the second day of the trial. Jan Marisi walks past the jury displaying Dean Groover's photo of Mary Ellen covered in $20,000 in cash, telling them this is the real Mary Ellen Samuels, clothed only in the blood money of her husband.
She's not wasting any time bringing out the heavy artillery. Spectators in the courtroom gasp.
Philip Namath asks people not to judge Mary Ellen until they've had a chance to hear her explanation of how she came to strike that pose when she takes the witness stand. While the trial gets underway, a related development is taking place in another courtroom.
Robert Samuels' sister, Susan Conroy, is in the process of replacing Mary Ellen as the administrator of his estate.
There's only $33,000 left.
Mary Ellen burned through a $500,000 estate in 13 months.
She had defaulted on the mortgage on the house, and the sandwich shop had unpaid debts.
She had no career of her own. Robert had supported her throughout their marriage. What did she think she was going to live on once the money was gone? It's the high-flying 80s, and she had a taste for the good life. But really,
Yet she never paid for a headstone for her husband. The family did that.
In the courtroom, Mary Ellen's spending is top of mind for Jan Morisi, too.
She tells the jury that one of the first things this poor grieving widow did was fly to Las Vegas and buy a fur coat.
Doesn't take long before the press start referring to her as the Green Widow. In addition to the family abuse argument, the defense tries another tactic.
Philip Nemes suggests Mary Ellen was framed by the now retired detective who was working on her case after she refused to date him.
He claims the detective kept photographs he'd found of her dressed in a bikini and a negligee.
According to Nemeth, the detective would tell her when his wife was out of town and invite her out for drinks and dinner.
Moving on to James Bernstein, the prosecutor tells the court he was manipulated by both Mary Ellen and Nicole.
Throughout the trial, Bernstein is the one referred to as the hitman in connection with Robert's murder. She says he enjoyed being kept by two beautiful women, and that Nicole even pretended to be engaged to him. Now married and with a young son, Nicole goes by the last name of Samuels Moriano.
The prosecution considers her an unindicted co-conspirator, which makes her status as a potential witness unclear at this point.
She hopes to testify as a witness for her mother's defense.
But the judge has denied a request from the defense to give her immunity from prosecution.
Over the next several weeks, witnesses testify as to what they knew.
Anne Hamley is a key witness.
Some of them become tearful when asked why they didn't warn Robert Samuels and Jim Bernstein as to what was in store for them, or even go to police.
The response? They were scared and didn't know what to do. Some said they were afraid their names might be next on a hit list.
Against the advice of her own attorney, Nicole chooses to testify on behalf of her mother.